Hi everyone, my name is Ong Sing Chi. Today I'm going to present about my diploma final year project, WAW Cultural Market, followed by the technical drawings explanation. WAW Cultural Market is a market ready to welcome both locals and tourists. It incorporates a market space, multipurpose hall, food court, workshop, outdoor busking area, and a gallery. The task was to combine various cultural functions as compact and efficient as possible to create spaces that facilitate synergies, multi-use, and attractive meeting places. It should be inviting and inspiring and build further on Gombak's identity. First and foremost, site integration. Starting on with the placement of the building, as you can see, our site is located between two main highways which has high density of traffic. Also, there is a junction where cars and buses stop to cross the road. So, I decided to locate my building as nearby as it can with the junction to pull more attention from people as junctions gather higher population. Next, reposition. According to the axis corresponding to the junction, I slanted the building by breaking the axis principle to blend in with the existing site context. Moving on to the circulation. For vehicle, the cars come from many directions to enter our site, while for pedestrian, even more directions can be accessed to reach our building site. So, I conclude that more entrances to be placed to increase permeability of the building and promote user-friendly at the same time, making it easier to access. This takes me to my next point, facade. As people come from many directions, it is a must to incorporate triple facades to allow visitors to view the building from any directions. Lastly, environment. The sun rises from east and sets to the west. For our site, can be concluded that it's only exposed to evening sun instead of morning sun. So, it's important to implement sun shading device to block the scorching sun from penetrates into our building. For ventilation, the wind comes from north, which is the residential area opposite our site. Moving on to the next topic, issue. There are some noticeable landmarks surrounding our site, for example, Urban 360. A condominium which has contemporary and modern architecture features. Also, Dewan Beringin Sri Gombak consists of Islamic and Roman architecture. At the same time, Pasar Taman Sri Gombak also hosts the Islamic architecture because of the domes and facade with Islamic pattern. From that, we can make a tiny conclusion that buildings in Gombak district has no consistent style. Also, let's take a look on the facilities nearby. There are Giant, KWSB, Bangunan TM, Prima Sri Gombak, and SMK Hillcrest. They all look very ordinary and lack of its own identity. So, our issue for our site today will be no culture, no identity, and no interaction with the surrounding. But, how about tourism? According to my study, there are actually a few spots nearby our site which have a potential to pull tourists towards our site. For example, Batu Caves, University Islam Antarabangsa, and KLCC. According to Google Maps, Batu Caves is just 2.8 kilometers away from our site, which takes only 5 minutes of drive to reach. Also, University Islam Antarabangsa is only 5.3 kilometers away, while KLCC is a little bit further, 18 kilometers away, requires 20 minutes of driving, which still considered as near. The three attract same group of people, which is tourists. Therefore, tourist is the key. So, there comes my concept. Make them wow, make us warm. Obviously, they mean tourists, while us means local, which is ourselves. For the team, of course, it is cultural. But what is culture? According to our study, the highest population in district Gombak will be Malay, followed by Chinese. Also, as I mentioned before, Batu Caves, a Hindu temple, one of the most frequent visited tourist attraction is Langok, will be representing Indian in this case. So, this is culture. Cultural exchange can be carried out only when there are interactions in terms of costumes, festivals, cuisine, constitute, tropical, weather, scenery, skyline, races, and language. Next topic will be target user. For my building, I will be targeting 4 groups of people. The main one definitely will be tourists. They can have cultural interactions by introducing local costume, food, and identity in the market. Next will be residents living in the residential area street Gombak. They are the nearest to the site, so I propose they can get daily shopping and local food in the market. Next is students, which can visit the bookshop and gallery to gain more cultural experiences. Lastly, office workers from the facilities nearby. They can definitely get local foods and stroll in the market during their rest time. Moving on to the main tenant. British India will be my first choice. It was established in 1994. British India is a homegrown lifestyle brand. Their customers are always well-traveled, socially active, and culturally aware. British India is well placed to promote tourism in Malaysia. Its uniqueness and position in a fashion tourism psyche enables it to promote the wider cultural, social, and physical attractions of Malaysia, which are on offer. Talking about the idea, there are 2 main elements combined in my design. One of them is Tanja, which act as a cultural element and represent folding architecture at the same time. Lattice pattern on roof is to imitate the pattern showed on Tanja also. The other one will be Gombak itself, in order to let my building to act as a landmark while creating identity for the whole district. The mapping shape inspires me a lot in the filmmaking process. Next, we'll be moving on in the programs in my building. Starting with the ground floor, it consists of concierge, British India, cultural retail shops, a bundle shop, washrooms, and services, while the first floor consists of a multipurpose hall, a cafeteria, an outdoor busking area, a roof terrace, management office, and washrooms. The second floor, having the least total area among them, consists of only workshop and a gallery space. For the circulation, public can access most part of the building. There are 2 fire staircases in this building in case anything happens. Also, a lift to transport disabled person from floor to floor. There are also paths which can only be accessed by staff, mostly hidden at the back of the building. For zoning, ground floor is all public except for small parts of services area. This is because there are usually highest density of population on ground floor, since its publicity and permeability is the highest one. First floor is a combination of public, semi-private, and private spaces. And second floor will be semi-private floor, which means you need to own a ticket or coupon to enter this space on the second floor. If you notice, the security level increases while floor level rises. Looking from the vertical planning, a small private spaces, which is a management office, is hidden in the middle where visitors do not really pass through using the featured staircase. This provides high security level and privacy for the particular space. So moving on to the next part, which is the technical drawing presentation. These are the key plan and location plan, both indicating where is our site located. So for the site plan, people enter my site from this entrance and they go straight along this pathway, which create a welcoming sense for the visitors. If they want to find a parking lot, they can turn over here to reach the parking area. But if they only want to drop off passengers, they can go straight and reach the drop-off area and drop off their passengers, like those Grab drivers and taxi drivers. And finally, they can make a U-turn to exit the site. For services, they share the same entrance as the normal visitors, but the only difference is they need to turn into this services lane in order to do their loading unloading job. After that, they can simply make a 3-point turn to exit the site also. As you can see, this large space is for cultural flea market events to celebrate some festivals such as Chinese New Year and Hari Raya, and also Deepavali. So those lot is for, there can be activities such as campaign, a flea market, some shows to be held on that space. As you can see, as you know, as I mentioned before, the whole building is target. The building as I mentioned before, tourists is the largest target group of my building, so there will be a bus stop for the travel bus to drop off their passengers. So those tourists or visitors can just reach our site by simply go up this ramp and they can reach our site. So as you can see, here are also a ramp to pull through. As you can see, here are also a ramp to pull tourists from this direction. And here got a pedestrian walkway, so the pedestrian can notice that there is a building inside here, and they can access it by going up this ramp. So moving on to the first floor plan. As we reach the first floor, the first thing we can see is a cafeteria here. So the cafeteria is to provide foods and some snacks for those visitors, and the visitors can also go out to the outdoor dining area to enjoy the scenery outside. Also, I provide an outdoor busking area for people to chill and relax there. And as you can see, here is a hidden management office on the first floor, which people does not actually access by using this feature staircase. It is hidden on the back side, but if the visitors need to go to the multipurpose hall, they need to go straight into this corridor and reach the hall. This multipurpose hall can be used for a lot of purpose, which some campaign, some fashion show, some talk can be held in that. Next one is the second floor plan, which has the least total area among of 3 floor plans. So it contains a workshop here, which exposed to the public by this glass facade, and also the gallery here, which is hidden and gives full privacy for the gallery. These 2 programs needs tickets and coupons to enter. So moving to the schedule of accommodation, the total area of my building will be 1,124 meters square, and the ground floor is 488 meters square. The first floor is 400.5 meters square, and the second floor will be 235.5 meters square. So moving on to the section XX, the floor-to-floor height of my building will be 4.55 meters. It is pretty sufficient for visitors to adapt under the ceiling. So as you can see, for left of this part mostly is about services, which is the water closet, some toilets for female and males, and the emergency staircase, and the lift to transport people from floor to another floor. And also here is the services entrance and the security room, electrical switch room, and genset. So for this part, it's actually about services. But in the contrary, for this part, which is exposed more to the public area here, will be the main program of my building, which is the British Indian and the multipurpose hall. See, the feature staircase is located in the middle of the building to draw people from ground floor to the second floor. To the section YY. As you can see, this part at the back of the building consists of those services, which is water closet and a lift. But for this part, which is exposed more to the public, contains of a workshop, outdoor busking area, a drop-off area, some retail shops, and a cafeteria. Also, there are a gallery hidden in this corner. The outdoor busking area is firstly located here in order to have the connections with the people inside the building and also outside the building, so that they can interact inside out. The building actually contains a curtain wall and a suspended ceiling. As you can notice, there are 3 different materials which I used in my building. For the structural materials, which is the floor beams, I use reinforced concrete, and for the facade and decorative parts, I use glass and woods. This is because wood can actually give out a warm feelings to the locals, and the glass can create patterns which provides a wow effect for the tourists, as refers to my concept, make them wow, make us warm. Moving to the west elevation and east elevation, as you can see, there are a lot of glasses on the roof and also on the walls. They can allow sunlight to penetrate into our building and making our building eco-friendly, because as the sunlight enters our building, we can save the energy for using artificial light. For the form development, first one is the basic form. I do a division for 3 stories height, which floor to floor height will be 4.55 meters. Secondly, alignment. A division is made according to the axis to adapt to the side context, which you can see those sharp angles is formed by the side itself. The next one will be subtraction. I lower down some portion of the building to highlight the important spaces on second floor, which is the workshop and the gallery. Next one, I did some addition, which rising up the multipurpose hall to create double volume and increase the visibility of it to the public. Next one is the floating effect. The balcony and terrace accompanied with curtain wall reinforce the floating effect of a building. Next one will be voids and enclosure. Here are the voids I created, and here is the enclosure to allow views to be seen internal to external. The next one is the views framing. Triple facades allowed the capturing of the cultural aspect of the community by framing it 360 degrees. So the connectivity, create openness like the balconies here to make the design more transparent to the users, which people can actually connect from the up to the down, and from the inside of the building and to the outside of the building, and make this building. The last one will be the greenery, which is the green roof terrace. It allows the interaction made between nature and man-made buildings. Moving on to the south elevation and north elevation. Also, as I mentioned before, there are a lot of skylights, allow the scorching suns and the evening sun to be penetrated into our building. For the exploded axonometry, here shows the structural component which support the whole building. Here got the I-beam column with timber finishings and the V columns. And here is the ground floor level, and this is the feature staircase which connect ground floor level with the first floor level. Here are the roof terrace which allow interaction with nature. And also, here are the first floor level and an outdoor dining area. This feature staircase connects second floor level and first floor level. And also, lastly, these are the roof structure of my building. Moving on to the last slide of my presentation, I'll be introducing some perspective of my building with you. The first one will be the British India, which is the main tenant of my building. And the next one will be the cafeteria located on the first floor plan. So as you can see, it comes with outdoor dining area and also busking area here. The next one will be the multi-purpose hall. As you can see, here are a big banner to show what is happening inside. And for this scene, I do some performance shows to celebrate Chinese New Year. The next one will be the workshop area. As I mentioned before, the glass actually creates patterns, and also don't forget the shadow casting when the sunlight penetrates into our buildings. As you can see, this area are full of natural sunlight, so it doesn't need to turn on the artificial lighting when it's evening. The next will be the hidden gallery in my building, which serves to introduce the cultural element for tourists and also local. The next one will be the outdoor dining area. As you can see, if you dine here, you can actually enjoy the scenery of those buildings surrounding outside. Also, here is a perspective from the flea market to our building. As you can see, I attract people to come to my building by mainly the roof form of my building, which is very outstanding and contrast compared to the building surrounding. This perspective shows the obvious roof form, which is so contrast compared to the building next to it. So moving on to the special study, here are the details of my timber wood panel, which it is made of prefabricated 45-degree lattice timber cladding, which is made in the factory and carried to the site and assembled together and form a roof panel. And the roof panel is clad between the perimeter timber beam to act as a support and connect with the other panels. Also, there is a lot of skylight with metal framing. This diagram shows the connection between columns and the roof panels. For the environmental response, here are the sunlight which I predicted to be entered our site at 12 noon and 3 p.m. in the evening. So the skylight enables the natural sunlight to penetrate into the building by itself. This makes the building more eco-friendly as more energy, such as artificial light, can be reduced indirectly. So as you can see in these two perspectives, there are actually a lot of sunlight penetrating into our building, which we don't need to turn on the artificial light. Also, the sunlight entering our building creates a warm effect for the people inside. Next one is the universal design, which is the ramp. The gradient must be 1:2 ratio to be applicable for OKU and also all people. Well, I think that's it for my presentation today. Thanks for your time and attention.